Hey everybody, thanks for checking out my broadcast today. My name is Jonathan. If this is your first time checking out a broadcast, a little bit about me. I am 38 years old. I'm married and have 4 kids. I started this channel because I, in October of last year, I was at the heaviest that I really have ever been, pretty much through the entire course of the pandemic. I was at the 520. But in October, I decided it was time to do something. And so on November 1st, I started this weight loss challenge. Carrie says, Happy Friday. Hey, happy Friday, Carrie. I hope you're having a good day. Um, and so, yeah, I started this video series here to record my experience through my extended fast. I ended up fasting for 42 days or 1,000 hours. And then just to kind of record what happens after that and, just to get until I get to my goal here. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm just a little bit thrown off this morning here. Got a couple things popping up all over the screens here. Um, so yeah, I started this series to help keep me accountable as well. There's a lot of times where I've started diets and never told anybody and really didn't have any reason to stick with them and generally didn't stick with them. And then two, a lot of times when I have set a goal for myself, I have set a goal that I thought was realistic for me. And a lot of times I do reach those goals. For example, many times my goal is to get under 300 pounds or to down to like 285, 275, just because that's close to where I was in high school. I feel like 300 is a cap or a number I need to be under in order to say I'm not super or like really overweight. Um, so in general, I've set a goal of around 300 pounds. There's been a few times since I was 18 that I've lost between 50 and 130 pounds and got to my goal, but I never really had changed or I never really learned how to eat once I was at that goal because all the diets I was always on were so restrictive that they weren't sustainable for a long time. And so I knew that for me to be not only at a healthy weight, but to sustain the healthy weight, I couldn't just focus on the weight loss and I couldn't just focus on the time it was going to take me to lose weight, but I had to spend a lot of time to change my habits. And I decided that um, I kind of picked a date. It's of 3 years because it's longer than I've ever stuck to any type of diet or regimen. Many times it's a few months or maybe close to a year, but over a year, generally, I've not had that kind of commitment. So this time I wanted to do something different. And then a big thing is I just want to be a better father and husband to my family. And that was a big reason for starting this. I don't want my kids to grow up thinking that it is normal to be 500 pounds or that it would be okay or that, because there's so many things that I was missing out on that I'm still missing out on because of my weight and where my weight was. So that was another big reason to start this here. Today, I don't know if I mentioned, but today is day 181. So that's 6 months and a day. Again, I am still very happy about the results I had here this week, losing another 5 pounds going into this Wednesday and reaching 175 pounds down in 180 days. It's an incredible amount of weight. I mean, and it puts me so close to the 200 mark when it's going to take me probably well over 5 weeks. I'm not going to lose 5 pounds a week. I may lose 2 to 3 a week. So it's going to probably take me 10 weeks to get down to the point where I've lost 200 pounds. But it is coming so much faster than I expected when I started this. I knew that when I fasted, I was going to lose a lot of weight. I anticipated gaining a good bit of that back after the first fast, and I really did not. I mean, 10 days later, I was still down. And then 2 months after that fast, I fasted again for 10 days. That fast definitely had an effect on my weight loss, though. I mean, I lost 20 pounds during the fast, but it took me another month before I lost any more weight. I gained a little bit back after the fast, and then it just took that long to get back down to that weight that I was at the end of the fast. And then since about a month ago, things have been going great with the weight loss. It has been 3.6 last week, 5 or the week before, 5 pounds this week. And I'm just hoping that it keeps going on like this. If anybody has any non-scale victories, I'd love to hear those, or any questions. Feel free to ask them at any point, whether you're here live or not. I don't have a whole lot. With it being Friday, we have a lot of things to do to get ready for the weekend. So I don't have a lot of free time, and I really hadn't done too much to get ready for the stream here today, with just getting things together here at the end of the month. I have a lot that goes on, particularly at the end of this month. And so I mean, the couple things that I've noticed, what was I doing? I had to move, and I talk about this a lot, but the amount of space that I have when I sit in seats is amazing, and it just continues to impress me and continues to shock me sometimes. I got into a truck the other day that generally it's difficult to get in, and I've actually had difficulty getting the seatbelt on, and I felt like I was tiny inside the seat versus what I normally feel. The other is I've generally had to be kind of picky about the cars that I drive or the cars that I've owned, because I can't just get into any car and drive it. And that is a little bit better. A couple instances this past week, I had to drive other people's cars. And usually if it's not a pickup or a minivan or a large SUV, it's pretty inconvenient or uncomfortable for me to get into those things. And it's just been it's weird, because my brain has been trained for the past few years at least to be so cognizant. Is that the right word? I don't even know if I pronounced it right, but I notice those things. I pay attention to those things. I had seen videos and people have talked about it, and I've done it myself. If a friend of mine says, "Hey, I want to go to this bar, or I want to go do this thing," immediately I think about, well, am I going to be able to fit there? Are they going to get a booth or a table? Is it high top tables? Is it regular tables? And it had even gotten to a point where somebody had shared I had never thought of it before, a couple years ago or a year ago or whatnot, but somebody was talking about they were sharing how they were disappointed with themselves that they had allowed themselves to get to a point where they were checking out restaurants' Facebook pages to see photos of inside the dining room so that they would know what kind of seating was in the restaurant. And I started doing that. They were kind of, they used it, I guess, as a point of shame, I guess. And then I was like, well, that's a great idea. That if I go into a new restaurant, I'm nervous about booth, table, high top, whatever, I can go to their Facebook page, and there's probably some photos from inside the restaurant at some point, and then you can kind of see what's going on from that. And so just overall having a little bit of relief from those things. And I guess I say a little bit of relief because we don't go to restaurants much, so it's not near as impactful as it would be if we did go to restaurants all the time. Um, but yeah, and just like I said, getting into the vehicles is a lot nicer, things like that. I talked about the compression socks I got yesterday. I really like those. I actually got a compression shirt that I had ordered. I have it on underneath this here. It's a 3X compression. It was pretty funny. I opened it up and it looks so tiny. I was like, there's no way this is gonna fit. In fact, my son, I believe, was in the room when I kind of like held it up, like, oh my god, this is so tiny. And he was like, oh, is that a goal shirt or is that a shirt you're gonna eventually wear? And I was like, no, I'm gonna put it on right now. And so I got it on, and it is compressing my whole body. It feels weird to have compression on areas, like especially since I've been so used to wearing loose clothes for so long. Uh, I mean, you can see the photo there, and I prefer wearing loose pants, loose shirts. I like my shirts to be long and draping, and to be wearing these compression items. It is a bit weird because it's so much like contact with the skin on the clothing. Because before, for me, if I would feel that clothing was like sticking or this tight on my body, I'd be kind of uh I wouldn't wear the shirt. I would change. I would, if there was, um, I look at the photo of me from before, and uh, I mean, that is tighter than I would want a shirt to be on me, but I was really in a position there where there wasn't much bigger options for me to wear uh, than that, um, so it's a little bit weird wearing compression clothing, but I do feel a little bit more confident walking around that things aren't necessarily um, jiggling as much, I suppose. Anthony checking in. Hey, Anthony, I hope you're doing great. I know you said yesterday you were starting to switch over to fruits and veggies. I hope that's going well for you still, and we'd love to hear how you're doing with that. Um, but so yeah, it's a little odd wearing a compression shirt and then also having the socks as well, going all the way up to my knee is odd. It's caused a little bit of with my right knee, a little bit of history, I guess, is I've had a lot of issues with my right knee in my life, I guess. When I was in 6th grade, I broke a bone in my knee. Um, I broke a bone in my knee playing backyard football. That I'm pretty sure the doctor at the time had essentially said, if you were older than this, you would have torn your ACL, but uh, because you were young, I was in like 6th grade at the time. There was a bone that I fractured. And so I had like a full leg cast for a while in 6th grade. And then when I was in high school, I was an athlete, and I did some sports that over the course of my freshman, sophomore year caused me to actually fully tear my ACL in my right leg. And so I had my ACL replaced when I was a sophomore in high school uh, on my right leg. I finished high school, played a little bit of sports in college, and then in 2007, I was probably about the weight I am now. I was maybe 20 pounds lighter than I am now, but I was at the 350-ish range, and uh, some friends and me, we were playing a game of softball. We had gotten a bunch of people together. I guess in '07, I would have been 26, 25 years old. Um, and so we were playing softball, and I was pitching. I had thrown a pitch, and the batter kind of just like essentially bunted the ball. I don't know if they literally bunted, but the ball just kind of dribbled in front of them. I went to go retrieve the ball, took a bad step, hit the ground, and I knew immediately I'd torn my ACL. And I went to the doctor, and so I had to have the same ACL replaced, which they told me was almost never something they ever had to do. When I had my first ACL done, they said that you'll probably tear your ACL again, but it's going to be your left ACL, not your right. I proved them wrong though, and I tore my right ACL again. So, anyways, all of that lead up is just to talk about with these compression socks. They come all the way up to just under my knee, and there's something about the compression on the inside. I think that might be an MCL, is what that's called. But it it's just a weird. It has a weird impact on my ligaments. It's not good or bad. I just know that it's moved something a little bit when I'm walking. It just makes it. I don't know how to explain it. Like I said, I don't have any pain from it, but it is. I got to imagine it's something from me having so many issues with my knee and then putting this compression like right underneath my knee. So, anyways, Carrie's saying we're just chatting about our jiggly bits, yeah. And then Anthony said it's going great. That's good. You had mentioned that you were ordering. Have you already received food that you had ordered, or are you doing like grocery shop until you get that food? Just kind of curious how that's going for you too, because Carrie, I think, would love it to not have to prepare the food. That's honestly, that would be a huge plus in our book, is if stuff is, I mean, if it makes things a lot easier. Obviously, cost becomes a factor, but if you look at how much money that I was spending on fast food, and that we spend in food in general, then it's probably not that bad of a thing. And so Carrie says yes. She don't want to cook anymore. No more 2 meals. We did try. Speaking of that, Carrie made 3 meals for dinner last night, maybe 4. If you count the ramen the kids, I guess, had at like 3:30, 4 p.m. But I had told Carrie in the morning, and I kind of been giving her a hard time, that I wanted a salad yesterday. And then so she had made up a salad last night, and then she had made the kids the ramen early. It was like an early dinner, late lunch. Probably, I don't even think it was a lot of food, but then she decided that salad wasn't going to be good enough for her, so she made the quinoa meal that she had made last week because she wanted that again. And then the kids, an hour and a half after the ramen, we're like, "Where's our dinner?" And so she ended up making them a grilled. I ain't even using the word cheese, but it was a vegan cheese, like a grilled. They got to think of a different. I know they're just substituting cheese, but it's not cheese. Like with the vegan or the whole food chicken nugget, the meatless chicken nuggets, you can just call them nuggets, or you don't have to call them chicken nuggets or fish sticks or anything like that. But with the cheese, we still call it cheese. And I don't know, I just think that we use those terms to maybe placate people. But here, what do we got here? So Anthony's saying, if you put your order in before Sunday, they can get out to you this week. It's expensive but worth the money, or this upcoming week. Yeah, I get that. Okay, so she wasn't making 4 meals. I'm wrong. Okay. She was making the chickpea tikka masala. She was making for lunch, and it just didn't get done until 5 p.m. That's what it is. But it's right. So plant-based grilled cheese, but you're using the word cheese. Get rid of the word cheese. Plant-based grilled. What? What can you call it? Like, it's a sandwich. It's it's chow cheese slices and plant-based butter. Yeah. And so, anyways, who knows what I mean? It's soy slices. Is that what the cheese is made out of? I wonder what the cheese's main component is. It's probably soy. It might be nutritional yeast. Isn't that supposed to have um, that cheddar flavor? So, anyways, yeah. Uh, but yeah. So you eaten the meals that you ordered? Then I guess Anthony was what I was asking, or I mean, does it seem pretty easy for you? Carrie says only making one meal tonight. We're all getting the chickpea tikka masala. It sounds to me, if I'm reading that right, that you're making 0 meals tonight. But I could be wrong. Um, unless you ate all the tikka masala from yesterday and then had to make a whole new batch of it. Um, but no, that should be a good dinner. I'm looking forward to it. Just skip the rice. We had rice with it when we first had it, just because we thought we needed to have more substance, I guess, or more to it. And the rice didn't help. It just made it kind of diluted one of the flavors and made it just a lot more food. Um, oh, we're having that, and then okay, you're making homemade pizza for the kids, so that's the meal you're making, and then we don't have to have anything. I see. I didn't read it right. So, anyways, I don't have a whole lot going on. I don't have a whole lot to talk about, I guess. I just, just continuing on with the plant-based diet. I have no cravings to break. That was, I don't know if I talked about it yesterday, but I get comments like when I post on Reddit. I get a lot of people asking questions, and one of the popular questions is, oh shoot, I went to go look at something and I totally forgot about one of the popular questions. Is I was trying to go see if I could find the question quick. Gosh darn it. Cravings. Yeah, okay. So they were talking about fasting. That's what it was. So they were talking about having issues with fasting, and I've brought this up in the past, I guess, now that I think about it too, is that they get this brain fog a few days in, or they have a hard time after a few days of fasting. Uh and um and they, then they give into their cravings too, I think was part of what the whole thing was. But um and I kind of explained to them that uh the brain fog isn't necessarily from the fasting. I believe that the fog is just as likely to be from the removal of sugar from your diet, the removal from caffeine from your diet, the removal from sodium. There's all kinds of things. It's not the fasting that's causing a lot of issues for people early on. It's the withdrawal symptoms, or it's the consequences of removing something that they generally get a lot of, or they get through their diet. And so the so just when I was saying about cravings, it made me think of that, or that response, or that comment that person had made, and just how the only things that I really have like a craving for, and again I think I mentioned it, is something like tortilla chips and salsa, like that the super salty tortilla chip uh, would be the only thing, but uh, I've also had put myself in a position where I've gone so long with salt, oil, and sugar. I just don't really, it's not going to bring me to it. And I know there's a pretty good chance that if I were to grab a tortilla chip and eat it, I probably wouldn't enjoy it because it would be so salty. Um, and so, but as far as the meat goes and the dairy, the more research I do, the less I am tempted by some of those things. And the meat really has been the easiest, and I believe that part of the reason why the meat has been so easy is because I'm so on board with the removal of salt, oil, and sugar. If I was still eating salt, oil, and sugar, then meat products would be more appealing. But the idea of having a steak without putting any salt, oil, without cooking it in oil, without putting salt on it, without having sauces with it, maybe, like the, or ribs, like those things. Um, just eating ground beef that's cooked does not appeal to me at all. I don't even, yeah, it just, uh, and then with the dairy, that was again more difficult to give up than the meat has been to give up overall. But with the dairy, the the more I educate myself or learn about how the dairy process works, the more uh, the more I don't want to go back, or the more the easier it is for me to abstain from those things when they talk about what actually is the contents of milk and the yeah just the in order to make cheese they have to take so much milk product and condense it down to make cheese, like how many gallons of milk does it make to actually take to produce the cheese you're eating. And then the uh one of the biggest things is that the cheese, the fats, the oil, they're the cheeses and the oils are just like liquid fat. It's just high concentrations of liquid fat that's at room temperature. It might be hard, or at room temperature it's oil, and so those things have been getting easier to stay away from over the past few months. And yeah, I mean, it hasn't been um, it hasn't been awfully difficult, just because I'm seeing such great results. I think too. If I was seeing results that weren't as positive as I have been seeing, then I might not have as much confidence in this diet. Uh, but so far, I mean, it has done nothing but impress me um, with how I feel and my, just overall health and wellness. And it's taken a lot to learn what to do too. Like it's been tough with because there's literally nothing. I mean, not literally. Literally is bad. There's nothing that I ate before that I would eat now. There's nothing. Uh, like I've said before, if I had a fruit or a vegetable prior to 6 months ago, it was an accident, or it was because it was on the side, or maybe it was the only thing that was available. But okay, and so Carrie's saying that, and with the milk yeah, we just don't have it on hand in the house anymore. Yeah, the majority of the kids' meals we don't include animal products anymore. Uh, I would. I don't know if I can look it up while I'm on the phone. While I'm on here. But I had. Yeah, I can look it up here. So I wonder if it'll have my list. Okay. So I had gone and while I was fasting, I thought I was going to go keto. I thought I was going to go paleo, carnivore, or something. And I was like, I'm going to buy the best meats possible Because if I'm going to eat, I want to eat high quality meat. And so I had gotten this um, discount code, and I had ordered uh, some beef online in November. And I had to order a certain amount to get free shipping, and I was paying a little bit more than what I would at the local grocery store, but but it was Wagyu beef and you know, or Wagyu blended beef and Italian sausage. So, anyways, me and Carrie have been laughing about it that I ordered this order in November of last year. So 5.5 months ago, I made this order, and we've been picking at it uh, to feed the kids because Carrie switched over to a whole food plant based diet at the same time, and so we the only time we've been serving this meat is to our kids, or when we had friends over or visitors, we did it. But uh but it's been a joke for the last month or so that we still have some of this meat around because it's been something that the kids had. Like, we're using this fancy meat and we're putting it in like hamburger helpers just because we're trying to get through it. In fact, we gave some of it to our dog, and I might have her cook more of it up for the dog because he's eating his food better with it. But I was just looking at the order, and it looks like we had ordered between the regular beef and the other stuff, like 27 pounds of beef in November of last year. And we had gone through pretty much all of, like, there was Italian sausages and stuff like that. But we still have like 5 pounds of the meat left. So it's been 5.5 months, and we've gone through 20 pounds of meat in our house, which is crazy because I was probably eating 20 pounds of meat in a week before, if you were to add up all my double quarter pounders and my chicken sandwiches and things like that. So it is quite a difference for us now, and we are getting the kids off those meat products too. But yeah, it's just funny to think that we've had that meat that's been she said the pizza tonight might have meat on it. Who knows? Yeah. The kids, yeah, they love their pepperonis and stuff like that. It's tough. I mean, it's really tough as a parent to, have your kids and be feeding them for 5, 7, 10 years, and then all of a sudden decide, hey, kids, we're gonna get rid of all that sugar, get rid of all that stuff you love eating. But they've been good sports about it. And Carrie says, "Wow, we ordered way more than I thought we did." We did too. I didn't realize I had. There was 20 pounds of just regular ground beef, and then 7 pounds of like different variety of mixed seasoned meats. But yeah, I mean, for 25 pounds, 27 pounds to last 6 months is crazy in my house to think that is what we're doing now. And I wouldn't change it. I mean, it's disappointing. I spent the money on the meat, but we're still using it, so it's not like it has been, unused. But I would prefer our kids, or we find solutions for meals that our kids will eat, or closer to our diet. All right. So I'm well over 30 minutes at this point. I got some stuff I got to do tonight anyways too. So I'm going to get out of here. If you haven't already, make sure that you subscribe to my channel, hit the bell icon to turn on notifications so you will get notified when I do go live. I will be live Monday at 4 p.m. I don't see any reason why I wouldn't be. If I don't go live, I would share that on the Discord. The Discord is down below in the description. There's a link to the Discord. It should be active for 1 week from the time of this video. I'd love to have people get on there, share their stories, what they're doing. I'd love to see one of those meals you're doing, Anthony. I'd love to see a photo of one of those. The but yeah, the Discord's a great spot for people to share what's going on with them. Carrie gets on there a lot, shares these recipes that we like. This tikka masala, I'm sure that she's got up there, and if she doesn't, she will get it up there because it's one of her new favorites. And then yeah, you can post weight loss updates, things like that. And then I also have an Instagram account that is at Fasting, FAHSTING. I'm trying to get better with posting on that, but you know, it's a slow process. So with that, I'm gonna get out of here. I hope you guys all have a great weekend. If you haven't started your diet, there's no reason not to start now. It it'll only make you better. I hope you do the right things. And if you haven't done a whole food plant-based diet, I would consider it. It's you know, I went for years and years that I would tote. I've done everything. I've tried everything. I've had the pills. I've taken shots. I've tried supplements. I've done this. And realistically, it was surgery or, you know, do what I'm doing. And I had never tried a whole food plant-based diet. It wasn't, like I said earlier, what I planned to do when I started this whole venture. But I'm happy that I came, you know, I'm happy that it's the way I went. That is the biggest thing I'm happy with. Yeah, just, well, I don't know. I just, when I think of all of the things that led to me, like, like literally the date on this order that I'm looking at here is November 23rd. I made the order on the 19th. November 19th, I had still not decided. I was 19 days into my water fast and I had not decided to do a whole food plant-based diet yet. And then just kind of everything fell into place, and I am so excited with where I'm at now with it. So, anyways, I'm gonna get out of here. If you guys need me, you know, send me a message or whatever, and I will see you guys on Monday. You guys have a great weekend.